following the money trail? Is the aid actually going to the people in need, or is it going straight to Hamas? Joining us now, OpenTheBooks CEO and founder, Adam Andrzejewski. Adam, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. I'm not sure if you were able to hear Hillary Vaughn's great report there, but I'm curious, what your concerns could be about providing aid to the Palestinians. Do you share the GOP lawmakers' concerns that that aid would just go into the hands of terrorists?
Absolutely. And I think you just have to go back to U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's statement back in May of 2021 after Biden restarted Palestinian aid after a Trump freeze and a Trump cut. Blinken said no guarantees. We worked very hard to make sure that the aid goes to the people who need it, that it's an actual subsidy of the Palestinian refugees, but no guarantee that it's not stolen. And he's basically saying the same thing today.
Yeah, Adam, just to follow on that, I think it was a senior State Department official said, well, we're giving the aid on a handshake. They are doing handshake deals with terrorists and handing over $100 million. It's got a lot of people very baffled.
Well, if you go back in history on this subsidy, it's been around for about over 75 years. After 71 years, Trump cut the Palestinian aid subsidy. And he was told at the time that it would create chaos in the Middle East. But for the 2.5 years that the subsidy was cut, it was, quote unquote, relatively, because the Middle East is never peaceful, but it was relatively peaceful in the Middle East. As soon as Biden restarted the aid, 4,000 rockets a month later started flying toward Israel from Gaza and the West Bank.
Adam, nobody ever seems to say, hey, Hamas, why don't you make sure that the people in Gaza have fuel? Hey, Hamas, why don't you make sure that the civilians are taken care of? It's always on Israel, or it's always on the United States. And I watch those trucks go in there, and I think to myself, it looks like we're resupplying the enemy. Truly, Adam, are we simply resupplying the enemy in an ongoing war right now?
Well, if we're going to give aid, it has to be around some principles. The number one would be you have to stand for a gainful peace process. And Trump cut that Palestinian subsidy because he felt that they weren't on for peace. And look, I'm from Illinois. It is the Super Bowl of corruption, but this is corruption on steroids over there. You've got the Palestinian Authority, who's supposed to be our peace partner, and they participate in a pay-for-slave policy with the PLO. Every single year, and it's a matter of Palestinian law, they fund pensions to the families of dead terrorists. It is quite simply money for mass murder. Wow. And no entity should be receiving any U.S. taxpayer aid if that's actually the law of their turf.
And their leaders have come out and said, Adam, that they will not stop until they take all of the land, not just the Gaza Strip, but they want all of Israel. So that is where we are right now. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon.